$9,099.
This is Wrecker, Hunter, Echo, Tech, and Crosshair.
Obviously, we are different.
We're all you're getting. Ha! We're all you need!
They call themselves the Bad Batch. Experimental Unit Clone Force 99. The defective clones with desirable mutations.
This is one meeting I don't want to miss.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Dad Batch Podcast, episode 81. My name is Stevie Kicks, and I am one of your 5 hosts this evening. And with us, as always, the other Dad Batchers, your space daddies. First up, he's wearing the best shirt that we offer, Brian Cook.
Oh,
how are you, man?
I want to blow something up.
Right on. Next up, it's specialty costume manufacturer and painter extraordinaire. It's John Rodriguez. How are you, buddy?
Good. Here's my clandestine shirt.
Ooh, the classic one.
Nice.
Cease and desist on that.
Oh,
one.
the cease and desist one, yeah.
Clandestine.
Cool. Next up, he's the commanding officer of the 501st Legion's Southern California Garrison, and not at all busy these days. It's Rami Shanaday.
I have absolutely nothing going on. It's fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Right on.
I'm good.
And last but not least, he's the E6000 of our little squad. Joe Lara, how are you, man?
Doing outstanding. Great to see you guys.
Your mic is messed up.
Your mic is off.
Hello.
You're on some other audio.
The light came off.
We'll get it figured out sometime.
We'll figure
We'll
it
get
out.
it figured out. But, gentlemen, welcome. How's everyone? How's everybody's week? How y'all doing? I started off this week really like down and out, but of course this Bad Batch episode just like lifted me right up.
There was an episode this week?
Yeah, there was a new episode. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Man.
It's so funny because like I count.
Only watched it a few times.
A lot of people don't know this, but like me personally, I count my year. I start and end my year with San Diego Comic-Con. Like Rami knows that, but
That's your fiscal year, like Comic-Con.
July to July.
yeah, those are my fiscal years. Yes. That's actually also the cycle of our show when we do our seasons. Just FYI.
So are you saying that at the end of this season, the Dad Batch pod finishes?
Bum, bum, bum.
Spoiler. Come on.
What the? Damn.
No, I think we'll finish on episode
99
98
or 9,099.
99.
We'll get to the like almost to the end, and
We'll
then
stop at 96. Forget it.
No. We'll just kick Joe out and
Yeah, we gotta end. We gotta end on 99, and then when we come back for season 3, Joe's not here.
Oh,
oh man, what's up, guys? How was your week, John?
Yeah, I had a good week. Busy. I don't know how much I can say.
oh wow, that means it's a good week.
Played some footy. I can say that. Yeah, played some footy.
how's the toe?
My toe got banged up last week.
Good.
And I think it was on the good.
Did you say good, Steven?
Yeah, he loved
Good.
it. On the way up to Lucasfilm last week, I felt like a little blister developing on one of my toes. And
Ew, was it pussy? Was it gross? Was it
no,
Gross.
just a blister. Like, you ever get a blister? Yeah, it's just like water, you know.
Mm.
But it was like messed up for a while, and it looked gnarly actually. But on Sunday it felt good, so I played, Yeah, you guys saw it. I shared it with you guys.
We saw it.
Sorry,
Steven,
the
Steven's
TMI for all the people listening. But
it's Steven's wallpaper on his phone. So
yeah, it literally. That's crazy. But otherwise, it's feeling better. It looks a little busy still, but I was able to play, and
it looked like you healed it pretty quickly though, because you were showing the injury, and then a couple of days later, it was like almost.
So
gone.
I talked to my football buddies, and I was like, oh, I can't play, my toe's messed up, and I sent them the picture. I'm like, sorry guys, here's the picture, and he showed it to his one of my buddies showed it to his wife's mother, who's a dermatologist, and she's like, that's infected. Put Neosporin and blah 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 blah. And he basically like just gave me like do all these things. I'm like, all right,
you did
and
it.
Like 3 days later, it's like I'm like, yo, I can play, and he's like, yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. So
that was a good album. Does this look infected?
That was a classic album. I think I was in high school when that came out.
Yeah.
Does this look infected?
Did you know that there's a proper way to? Oh God. I can't believe I'm going to talk about this on our show.
Yeah,
do it. There's a proper
dads.
way. There's a proper way to drain a blister.
Yes,
so
I
like,
do.
So like, what you do is you take a blade or whatever, you pop it sideways at the base.
Yeah.
That way,
like if this is the bubble, you go like this.
And then you squeeze it.
And what's it sound like, Steven? For our. Because you're yeah, there you go. Because we have people that are listening to the podcast, so we have to kind of describe it. Sound.
Brian, how was your week, please?
I'm so hungry right now.
I've been all right. I've been a little busy with a couple work things, and then the project, and then my new truck decided to have a major malfunction. That's under warranty, but
that's good.
Cylinders and valves and heads, and I don't know. I have a rental car that they gave me, sent me on my way, told me to wait, they'll be back, and I'm like, is my truck worth anything still? I don't know. Apparently it's gonna be fixed.
Is it in recall? Did I see that?
No. So I did a bunch of research, and this will get really long, so I'll try to condense this as quick as possible. But I've done some researching on some Tacoma forums, and apparently this was a random issue with a few trucks in the high teens. So like, 2018, 2019. Mine's a 23, and they haven't really seen it too much in these trucks. And they say that, someone slipped and fell in the production line and made a mistake on this one or something like that. So I don't know. There's in this forum that I got on trying to share like what was wrong with my truck. A guy chimed in who's a tech for Toyota, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've done this probably on a dozen trucks. It's semi-common, not common type scenario." So kind of weird. I've never really dealt with anything like this. Usually I bought a new car and it lasts forever, 10, 15 years before you even got to deal with it. So
yeah, that sucks.
Trying to process it. I need it for work. It's,
another thing that you didn't anticipate.
I hate having to try to figure out how to navigate. Yeah, it's under warranty.
Yeah. So you're covered.
So that's what the guy in the forum that responded, who's a tech, he's like, you'll get it back. It'll be as good as new and you won't have any issues. And I'm like, all right.
Do you guys have lemon law in North Carolina?
Probably.
Oh, it's kind of like in every state.
Lemonade law.
It's just about in every state.
Sounds like a pain to deal with.
Lemonade law.
It's a lot sweeter.
And yes, Austin, thank you for complimenting me on my fresh cut. I was going for the
hemlock.
The hemlock look.
Yeah.
Dude, you could do this. Hemlock.
I could pull off hemlock. I got the jawline for it.
My hand. I don't know what's wrong with it.
I mean, Crosshair's got the same problem at this point. So
Hemlock talks like Watto now.
Yeah, he does now.
No money, no parts, no deal.
I'm a cloner. I like to make the Palpatine parts. Now let's say your neck is really long.
Now he turned into Triumph.
Yeah. Hey, so I had a cool Saturday. I hung out with Meganeth, who needed a couple of extra shots for his now approved CRL CAD Bane. It's so awesome. So shout out to David Nath, aka MegaNath66. Incredible costume. Those of you that are lucky to see it in person, isn't it amazing? And then those of you that can't see it in person, go check out his Instagram, MegaNath66.
Oh yeah,
cow, it's so good. So he's approved.
And what makes it really good is that he made like everything. He didn't buy, like, he bought materials and made everything.
dude. We kept questioning him. We're like, what are you doing? You can just buy this and do this. He's like, no, I'm just gonna do it myself.
He's like, I'm gonna buy a bunch of clay and sculpt this mask by hand. Then I'm gonna mold it in silicone, whatever he molded it, and then I'm gonna make it a silicone mask.
And John, did he have experience molding or making clay?
No.
Or
He's
none.
Like, he's like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Like, this has been either an expensive mistake or
zero.
And he crushed it.
It's like,
but he's a welder, and welders are talented individuals.
He's got an inclination for sure. He knows what he's doing.
not everybody has that innate skill.
Yeah. I don't think
He's one of those weirdos that just like does everything perfect the first time.
He's
pretty much
nailed. Yeah, everything.
Don't you hate those bastards?
What a
Sorry,
weirdo.
is bastard a bad word? I'll stop saying that.
No.
But, yeah. Okay. I don't know. You guys tell me. You're the language police.
I don't know.
Raymond, where are you? You're not
in
your casa.
I am in Seattle. So I'm up here for Emerald City Comic Con. It starts tomorrow, runs through the weekend. So
dude, you're gonna have fun.
Yeah, the plan is to hang out with Left Coast Avenger the whole time and make Brian feel like he's missing out. So it's very targeted towards him.
Have you been at that one before, Remy?
No, never. And it's funny because
fun.
like I was talked into coming to this, and then I turned around and talked other people into coming to it, and like I'm pretty much the only one here.
I had a hotel saved. I had booked a hotel, but life's getting busy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're telling me.
What costumes did you take?
I have what we call casual Echo, which is season 2 Echo minus the chest and back armor.
Sweet.
So I wore this. Yeah, I wore this. We see him like that in the show. Like when he's on Pabu, he pretty much has, it's like all the leg armor and the kama, and his arms, but no shoulders, chest, or back. So that's what I brought because I couldn't. Storage space is limited. And then I have pretty much most of the pieces for my denizen, so I can mix and match and do a few days that would look totally different, but it's still kind of the same basic costume. So that's it. That's what I brought.
So I'm going to give you a suggestion while you're there.
Okay.
Luke has a Batman.
Okay.
He would let you wear it. Just saying.
God. No, but no, nobody wants to do that. I need to do some work on me before I can pull off Batman.
All right, just want to throw that out there.
Which Batman does he have?
It's easy. Maybe just get a 6-pack and you're good to go, bro.
I know. Well, I'm working on it.
Maybe
I'll try the cowl on, and we'll see like what this part of me looks like with the cowl. Like that'll be how I'll know if I really want to go through with it or not.
Because when I went to Emerald, the first time, we only went one time. Or did we go 2 times? I can't remember.
You wore his Wolverine.
I put his Wolverine on. Yeah, his leather motorcycle racing suit Wolverine. It was a little tight in the crotch. I'm not gonna lie.
I so
awkward.
Follow that. So one thing I was prepared to shave. I was going to shave the beard off for Echo.
Nice.
I can't. I've got something going on, and I'm not. I was specifically told I'm not allowed to shave.
You can't.
I have to
You
look
can grow
like
fast.
this.
That's true.
No, not on the timeline. Not on the timeline.
Can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it.
That's all I have to say about that.
Wow.
Talk about what?
It's good stuff.
Can't shave. Wow.
Ramy, don't forget to get a walking workbench while you're there.
Yeah, and so
don't forget.
Luke's got a good camera, and I've got the good mic that we got for that. And so I think between the two and he said that he's got some folks up here that specifically have worked on some pretty impressive things. So I think we'll get some good content this weekend.
Yeah, Core Geek lives up there. He makes awesome costumes. Yeah, he's up there.
We met him at Dragon Con.
Yeah. I met him at ECC with Luke forever ago, but he makes awesome stuff. And then there's a girl, I'll try to remember her name, Downin, her and her husband.
Oh, and then don't forget to do go live on the IG.
Yeah, I mean, we could maybe we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We could do we could try doing a couple walking workbenches that way too, just to see if it's easier.
Stepdaddy Luke interview some people.
Mm-hmm.
Stepdad, yep.
Yeah. What else? What else we got?
I'm trying to think. I think that's it.
That's it.
Welcome to Pabu, my home away from home.
Family reunion. Got to have a family reunion. My buddies and me, you're getting real well known. Yeah, the bad guys know us and they leave us alone. I get around, I get around.
Okay, folks, mark your calendar 1 month from tomorrow as we record the show. On Friday, March 29th of 2024, the Dad Batch Podcast Family Reunion will be live at WonderCon in room 208 between 8:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. So join us, the Dad Batch, and meet up with cosplayers and makers from around the world. We've seen what this community can do when we rally around a common goal. Just look at the legendary things this community does during the holiday seasons with the charity drives we participate in. And the talent that we've got here, that we here on the Dad Batch Podcast see each and every day being shared with the world through social media, build parties and conventions, inspires us to want to up our game. So, this is your chance to not just join us as we record an episode of the podcast, but more importantly, your opportunity to share with us and the community what you're working on, your tips, tricks, and even compliments with your fellow artists, and see their amazing work in person. So add real life interactions to friendships that otherwise might have only ever existed online, and experience for yourself firsthand what we here on the podcast see each and every day, and how this is the best online community and family in the galaxy. So again, 1 month from tomorrow, probably be today as the show drops on the podcast channels. So Friday, March 29th, between 8:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. in room 208 at WonderCon.
Be there or be square.
Get it.
And the Dad Batch there might be a themed costume that like we're all kind of part of. That y'all just have to find. Y'all just have to find out.
I can guarantee a really bad connection for me on there too.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I totally believe it.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you believe?
True.
I believe it when I see it. I believe it when I see it.
I have to wait and see them.
Well, thank you again, everybody. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Our listeners literally make this show possible. So if you'd like to show your support for the show and rep it with the finest of Dad Batch threads, pick up your brand new Crosshair Space Daddy shirt at thedadbatch.com. Crosshair collection is live as of right now.
Dang.
Meow.
So choice.
This garbage is nothing like clone armor.
Looks a little tight on you, old man.
Yeah, at least I know how to wear it.
That's right, everybody. It's time for the weekly workbench. All right, gentlemen, who is working on what? Brian.
Nothing costume related. Still working on our space that we've talked about. And really haven't done anything crazy. I cleaned, I vacuumed, I painted a wall.
Hey,
just white. Alabaster, actually, a satin alabaster.
Ooh,
alabaster. One thing that was crazy that I discovered is I haven't painted anything in a long time. When did paint get so expensive?
Oh, bro,
like a gallon of paint was $80. I was like, what?
Back in my day, paint was $10.
We used to walk in the snow uphill both ways to get paint.
I was even talking. I was even talking to the guy that worked there, and I was like, I didn't realize. He's like, yeah, I started working here, and I thought like paint's like $20 a gallon. I'm like, yeah, I figured $20-$30. No,
for the cheap stuff. You should just got that 98-cent spray paint that you love.
I could have. I'd still be in there.
Dude, his 98-cent spray paint is like $2 now.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
$2.39
So that's
for my
kind of
Lowe's special. It was 99 cents pre-pandemic when I started buying it. Damn. 99
You know what it is, Brian? It's that everyone who's like working from home and staying home, and then everyone who's stayed home for the longest time, everyone's looking at their walls and they're just like, "Oh, I should paint this."
I blame George Bush.
You know how they have like BC to kind of tell you the time difference. We should have like BC2, like before COVID, dude. Like before COVID, right? Because prices change, dude. Like everything changed.
Yeah.
So is that BC2 or after BC2? You know?
Before Crosshair.
Yeah.
I did have I had a super rad dude that we met through skateboarding, and he's a woodworker, and he made a bunch of custom shoe shelves and like a counter for the store, and he knocked it out of the park. I mean, the around where there's corners, the wood grain like goes around the corner and matches, so the lines like go around the corner. True craftsman of what he does, like really kind of a perfectionist, so as most woodworkers are that I've known. So super cool. Shout out to Sam.
But
You're the man, Sam.
I can work wood, and it's not very like.
Sorry.
I think we all can.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Like, I made like a frame once for like my wife for like Mother's Day, and like
okay.
Couldn't. It's tough to match up the grain.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Don?
I have not made anything recently for myself. Oh, you know what I did do? I painted your wife's helmet that's sitting right there behind you. Right there in the blue and the chrome right there over your shoulder right there. Painted that over the weekend or last week at some point. You're like, I need this yesterday. And I was like, and somehow got it done in like a couple days.
Chrome and go, man.
Chrome and go. Yeah. And I think that's it, really. I mean, I chromed a few things, but nothing, that's the most significant thing there. That's it. I haven't done anything. Nothing.
Well, you did a lot, but you can't.
I put foam in my helmet, in my Mando helmet. That's something, right?
So I'm not going to say anything, but so the guys don't worry, but I didn't sign an NDA. You guys are doing a lot of things, and I think it's just a matter of time. That's just put it there, right? You guys are very busy making a lot of really cool stuff. So we'll see what happens in the future. Let's just put it there.
Okay.
Can't talk about it.
Yeah.
The Crosshair collection is quite broad online, I must say, Steven. I'm looking at it right now.
There's a new shirt that we put on there. It's not a shirt that we've ever offered before, but it's an all over print shirt where you could literally have Crosshair on your entire shirt and back.
The back is interesting, I will say. Placement
is it Crosshair's butt cheeks?
Did you just make that?
And for anyone that purchases that shirt, there's a secret message on it.
Please don't promise a helmet, Steven. Please don't promise.
Just make that? Did you just design that?
There's a secret message on it. Did I just design it? No, that took a long time.
I see it. I kind of feel weird. I gotta order shirts with myself on it.
For the
feels kind of weird.
Well, you're wearing me. Remy?
That's true.
Oh, look at that. Is that the fig?
What? The fig? What fig?
That's Brian. That's Brian.
Like Fig Newton?
It's like a Black Series figure. That's crazy. I guess it's a compliment, huh?
That's a compliment, man. He looks that good.
I need it all. I need all of it. I still need tech shirts too.
Wow, dude, that looks really good.
Although Joe kind of looks like he's flipping you off in his shirt.
Exactly.
I see the hidden message.
I need to check
won't
my
spoil it.
goggles. All right, I got a tear in my eye.
Sorry, where were we?
Raimi was
Raimi.
going to talk about his workbench.
I wasn't because I can't talk about it.
Oh man,
Dude, you and John are boring.
Remember
No.
what I said, folks.
It is not boring. I promise. It is.
Remember what I said.
When we can talk about it, it will be very cool.
It is
but-
the opposite of boring.
In the moment, it is forbidden.
fine, whatever.
about it next
Joe,
year.
So a couple of things. Shout out to my wife. So we're trying to get this Chrome Tonal stuff shipped out. And folks, we learned a lot of lessons. It took us 2 Chrome Tonals and we're still learning lessons. But dang it, shipping is pricey. So anyways, got this thing shipped to Australia because we have a winner in Australia. And so get this. I ship it out. Won't discuss how much it costs. I'm fine with it. We're fine with it, right? We got it. We agreed to do this. It's on its way. And then like 5 days later, ding dong, box is back on my doorstep. And the post office is saying, sorry, when it got to customs, there's some things in there that are not allowed to be shipped to the country. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, it's a helmet. It's some really cool glasses from Diff, right? Diff, shout out to Diff.
Shout out.
Right? So just really cool things. And then I'm looking at this and it says coins. And I'm like, man, I bet you there's a currency thing. I bet you can't ship currency. And sure enough, my wife went back to the post office, waited in a long ass line, and finally got to the lady. And they're like, yeah, you're not allowed to ship currency. And so it's just a law, right? But we're like, okay, we paid so much money, we don't have to redo this. Luckily, on the customs form, I wrote coins and in parentheses movie props. These are the ones that were on Solo, and I wrote movie props. We didn't have to pay it again. They basically gave us our money back and then recycled. We just had to pay a new, just get the new form, and then we shipped it out. But the fact that I wrote movie props, I didn't have to pay it again. Otherwise, I would have lost that money because it would have been lost in translation. But I clearly did my part, and customs misread it. So, yeah, John, you're muted, buddy.
Imperial credits are no good here.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, you didn't mess up. Everything you did was correct, and they misread the customs form. That's why you were able to we'll honor it. You paid for it. We're gonna send it.
They had to honor it, right? So luckily, dude. So just a lesson learned, even for myself. 2 times, always write the address on the actual box. Don't just leave it up to the envelope or whatever you slap to it. And then be very specific with what's inside, because that might save your butt. So thank you, Kim. And then one thing I am working on, building, I have this cool, nice deck on my backyard by the pool. Gentleman that I bought the house from built it, did a great job. It's even, it's like perfect symmetry, amazing. But he didn't water treat the wood underneath. He only did the top side. And so after 7-8 years, I'm having to replace some boards. So I'm making some runs to Home Depot. I'm doing more dad stuff. Yeah. It's just maintenance of the house. But you know what? I love that though. I get to get out some saws and some tools that I don't get to use very often. It's just fun, man. I love the smell of wood when you cut it, dude. It's just so good.
Do you put a tool belt on?
No, I don't try to look the part. Usually looking the part is half the battle, right? But
dude, tool belts come in handy, man. You got a hammer, you got your screws.
I just wait for Kim to look outside and watch me work. And I'm like, hey, baby, you see that what I just did right there?
Tape measure, you take your shirt off.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, slow flex. But no, but it's cool. It's cool. I love doing that kind of stuff. And I don't do it enough. So but that's all I'm doing. Not really costumes. I am going to get my Boba Fett stuff shipped soon, hopefully, though. So armor should be inbound soon. That's it.
So I worked on my wife's costume, her night owl, live action night owl inspired costume. And so here's the helmet that I'm showing on the YouTube. So the helmet was 3D printed. I can't believe, dude, 3D printed by Raimi. And it feels like a resin cast, like so good. and then chromed by John, and then painted and finished by me. And it's just, man, I'm so proud of this helmet. Like it literally is a collaboration
Love that
from three of
colorway.
us.
Great colors.
So these are I helped build the Death Watch live action Death Watch CRL for the 501st, and the paint that was used is it's really hard to find. And I was saving that paint for myself, but I actually used the paint for my wife's kit. So this is actual like screen used Death Watch colors on here. And then I did this little trick. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but while the paint was drying, so it's like it's not wet, but it's not like fully cured yet.
Like tacky.
Yeah, like tacky. I took a screwdriver.
Yeah.
And I started scratching it up and peeling the paint.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it gives a different effect than like doing the latex masking. It feels like a real scratch.
It's like a proper scratch, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's real weathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
It's not fake weathering. It's real weathering.
And then did the whole kit, armor, hand plates, gauntlets, all that stuff. And I used the Sunlu ABS resin, ABS like resin on that. And even after you cure that resin, the armor still flexes, just like a regular piece of plastic would. It's really good. Highly recommend anyone who's printing armor use Sunlu ABS like.
Shout out to Sunlu. They don't sponsor us, but they probably should. That's all I use.
That's what I'm using too. I'm using Sunlu.
I don't use the ABS but I use the water washable stuff for everything.
Come on, Sunlu.
Everything.
Hook it up.
ABS like.
Love you, Sunlu.
So our listeners should go on to Sunlu's Instagram.
Yeah,
Everyone tag Dad Batch Pod
with the skull.
You should hit these dudes. You'd be like, listen to the next episode. Sunlu.
Hey, that's a great something you brought up about the weathering, and I think because our listeners and we are costume makers, and this is part of the reason why some people like to listen. What are your guys' ideas on weathering and how to approach weathering? Like the
natural, baby. That's what I'm talking about. The way Steven just said, how he just took a screwdriver. That's what I do. I just take sandpaper, whatever I have, and I just start rubbing it all over the piece.
But some people can overdo it, right? Sometimes folks can overdo.
You can't overdo weathering. It's happens in the wild.
You can.
Looks like you're on your own there, buddy.
Can overdo weathering, but if you look at movie made props and items, if you go to Star Wars, a convention, and you see a costume that was used in a movie, they are beat the F.
But hold on. It's half because they're weathered, sure, but it's also half because they've been through hell and back.
Well, that too.
A lot of the costumes are like half destroyed by the time they get back to wherever they're going.
But that texture is needed to show up on camera.
I think what I'm asking, Brian, though, is does the weathering make sense? The style of weathering, or the amount, or the angles of the hits. You know what I mean? Like
I don't have a rhyme or reason to how my stuff is, and I feel like it looks okay. So,
yeah,
that's me.
I mean, I think
the latex stuff, that's just not my vibe.
I'm willing to bet, Brian, you kind of know in your mind, and so you make your hands meet what you see in your mind. But some folks just approach it as like, oh, I'm supposed to take a screwdriver and start smacking it. But now you have all these angles that don't quite make sense to what could actually happen to a piece of armor in battle or whatever. It's just like random gashes, right?
That's what I mean. Edges and bring out texture, especially depending on the color of what it is. Depends on what it is too, right? Like my shins, I tend to beat up shins more than I do with a thigh, right?
And why would you do that? Because you're on your knee more, right? I
mean, crosshair, yeah, but anything, your legs,
a sniper,
your legs take the brunt of whatever it is you're doing for the most part.
Usually, there's a rhyme or reason why the mark is there. It's not just, hey, I'm just going to.
That's how I roll.
Yeah,
that's how I roll.
Yeah.
Raimi does this really good thing that he taught me about the back of a Mando helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's he calls these like these vents. He calls them vents. Like I call them coin slots because like that's what we called it on Boba Fett. He calls them vents, and he always makes like he makes these vents like extra dirty. Like as if it was like exhausting your sweat or something, like
Yeah, isn't that what it is? Essentially, spitting out all the dirty, filtering the air.
On mine, I have these weird vents on my cheeks, and I put a little bit of rust as if like liquid is just kind of pouring out.
Like precipitation is
condensation's pouring out of these vents for whatever reason, and rust, and
yeah. Love it.
You're basically storytelling, in my opinion. This is where I was trying to get at to see if you guys were going to go there. But there's story. If you could look at a prop, you could probably get an idea of what this character has been through by looking at it. That's kind of, I think, where I go. I spend that much time staring at this thing where I'm like, what happened to this person or this thing or this? Where were they at? Even for tech, just man, he fell down a mountain here and slid. Or a long way and then caught himself on this branch. Like, oh, here's a branch that just thrashed the side of his helmet. So it's just like that. I don't know. That's just where my mind goes.
You've got to do weathering that matches the environment that you're trying to tell the story. Like what's the story that you're telling and where did they come from? Like, so the weathering you would do on somebody that's from Tatooine is not the same weathering you do from someone from Endor.
There you go.
Like Endor's weathered with a darker brown and greens. Tatooine's sand, obviously, and like the colors. Like if you look at the films, the colors that are on the troopers in Endor they match the planet, whereas sand troopers obviously look like sand troopers. So, weathering from a snow planet is done a little differently.
Yellow, tethered.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Don't eat the yellow
snow. They're walking. For me, it depends because there's like animated weathering on armor and helmets and stuff, and then there's also like real, like you wouldn't put an Alumilustra on an animated kit, for example.
Yeah, why bother?
It's kind of you could, but it's a waste, right?
You wouldn't. I don't think you would. I mean, you could. Obviously, you could.
It's not that rich. Yeah.
Yeah, but the weathering techniques are a lot different. Like for example, I might not use oils and like that little like alcohol technique where people like do the little brush thing.
Drops
on something animated. I might just use like a fine steel wool and wet sand. The weathering, like overspray and wet sand that to make it look like shaded and beat up a little scratched up, like more like animated.
Good point. They're totally different. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So it depends. I wouldn't do one on the other or vice versa. I mean, maybe for fun because I've done like I've seen people do like chrome animated clones, for example, or whatever animated. They've done like metallic stuff, and who cares? It's for fun. Who cares? But that's more like a live action thing. At least that's what you see on screen compared to something animated where it's just animated. But yeah, that's me.
Cool. That was a good point.
My go-to is a black wash. Like,
I think you can just black wash on anything, right?
Yeah,
just about.
But like the black wash, and then I usually after the first layer of a black wash, and I get it to finally get it to where I want it, I'll usually seal that in with like a matte clear coat, and then I'll do a second wash of usually like a burnt umber or a brown or something, just a different color other than the black wash.
Yeah.
It's very important to seal in that first wash. Otherwise, you'll just wash it off.
You'd be surprised though, because I'll do that sometimes where I'll black wash something and I'll do like little sprays, so there's like droplets and blotches and stuff, and I'll like turn around for like 5 minutes and I'm like, oh yeah, go back and like keep adding more black, and all of a sudden that's already on there permanently, and I'm adding new
on top of
right, where that's kind of just coming down as much as you're spraying is coming down, but if you leave. I don't know. The sun hits hard sometimes.
There's so many tools, man. I mean, some people like swear on the airbrush, but I never use the airbrush. I think airbrush is good for like maybe materials and soft parts for like corners and like where there's seams, little things like that. But I don't know.
Let me give you an example of an airbrush on something. So you can use, for example, like the Copic inks, like the grays, or like the because I have a few grays that are neutral grays, but I'll do that over like in the cheeks of a Mando helmet, for example, or within where it would be weathered, and then I can go over with like the naphtha, the painter solvent, dip a little brush in there, and then instead of alcohol, use that, and you do the brush thing
the
over
flick.
that.
Nice.
And that distorts the color. It gives you a different shape because it's not. I don't know how to explain it because it's like almost like alcohol, and it doesn't make like a rain droplet type of blotch. It makes like something different,
A splatter.
Yeah, but it's a splatter that's like in a different shape.
And it makes sense too, the weathering of the thing. So it looks like metal that's maybe been exposed to rain and all kinds of stuff.
But then you can blackwash over that. So now you have these two different depths of texture, which if you see one by itself and the other one by itself, you'd be like, oh, those are similar. But if you see them together, you're like, oh, I can see them apart. I can tell that that's this and that's that. And it adds, it's an extra layer of
layers. That's got a layer.
That's the key.
Right. But you can layer of the same blackwash. But if you do the alcohol thing with the Copic inks and the alcohol, and then you do the blackwash, it changes everything. It adds so much dimension. It's really cool.
Nice.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I think that was everyone's workbench, yeah?
Oh, we're still doing workbench. Yes.
Maybe.
I've got one other thing for the workbench that I forgot. So I don't know if it was last week or before, somebody reminded us that we needed to do a volume 2 of the Spotify playlist. So we've got that out there now. So you can go to the website and under the listen drop down, you can listen to podcast episodes, but we've got the playlists there too. So there's now a volume 2 of the Spotify playlist. And I think that will evolve over time. I don't think we've all put stuff on there yet. So we'll probably add some more stuff. And I think the idea of these is this is what we're listening to kind of right now. So what we're listening to now might not be the same thing we're listening to in 6 months. So we'll do a volume 3 and so on.
Nice. Wicked game, dude. Chris Isaacs. Yeah.
I gotta get on there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can see who put it on there. So if you want to see like what's on my rotation right now, go look at what's on volume 2.
I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. No, that's not Ramey's.
Wow.
Wow.
Not mine.
Wow. R. Kelly.
Hey,
Wow.
Hey, Ramey.
Hey, Steven.
We're being hailed. This encryption's new. This might take a while.
And it actually might take a while. I ended up with a lot more news this week than I thought I was going to. So bear with me. Congratulations to Mandalorian voice guy Pedro Pascal for bringing home a SAG award for Best Male Actor in a Drama Series for his work on The Last of Us. Worth noting that The Last of Us also won another SAG award for the stunt team's work in the category of Outstanding Performance of a Stunt Ensemble for a Television Series. And again, still award season. So the 96th Annual Academy Awards, those air on March 10th, and they take place at the Dolby Theater in LA. Ludwig Göransson has been nominated for his sound work on Oppenheimer, and John Williams was nominated for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And worth noting, this is Williams' 54th nomination, and he has the record for the most nominations of any other person alive. So 54. Good grief. I know.
Legend.
I know.
Legend.
I think I should have done a little extra homework. I for the number being 54, it's actually kind of criminal how few he's actually won, but a lot of nominations there. So, and then ILM also got nominated for 4 different films in the special effects category. And it's funny because like there's 5 films in that category and the ILM is 4 of them. So they're pretty much competing against themselves and one other film. So congratulations to our friend Steve Sansweet and his Rancho Obi-Wan for being voted into the top 10 pop culture museums in the country. So located in Petaluma, California, Rancho Obi-Wan was certified by the Guinness Book of World Records like a year or two ago as being the world's largest private collection of Star Wars memorabilia. So the collection / museum won the number 8 spot on that top 10 list specifically. And you can go out to ranchoobiwan.org, and memberships are $60 a year, and you can also book tours of the museum. So, and those are often guided by Steve himself. So if you want to meet Steve Sansweet and get a private tour of the museum, go check it out. So The Mandalorian and Grogu will be filming entirely in California, thanks to a massive tax credit awarded to the production from the state. So $21,755,000 worth of tax credits, to be specific. One of the biggest In fact, it was only beat out by Bumblebee of all things, which was 22.4 million in tax credits ever given in California history. So
it's a big deal.
Oh, credits.
Yeah.
You and me, Texas.
Oh, I love Texas.
The production is expected to generate 166,438,000 worth of revenue for the state, in the form of 500 crew members, 54 cast members, 3,500 background folks, spanning across 92 filming days. So this is actually going to be the first Star Wars film ever shot 100% in California. And the last time a Star Wars film shot at all in California was the Endor and sail barge scenes from 1983's Return of the Jedi.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's a big deal. I mean,
yeah.
Not only that, there's going to be work for people
in Cali, right?
Huge deal, right?
Where are we going to get 3,500 background people? Ah.
Well, we might know a few folks. So,
where are we gonna find all these people?
Where can we find them?
Joe, why does everyone at Lucasfilm sound like that?
They just do. They work at Lucasfilm.
Everyone's Watto.
It's a requirement.
I'm going to point out, some of us have been rather cagey about what we've been working on lately. It is actually not that. So I've gotten asked that a few times, and I feel the need to squash that rumor because it's getting a little out of control. We're not working on that for now. So moving on, Stellan Skarsgård did on the Mandalorian.
That's so cool. Yeah, we're not. Yeah,
somebody sent me that article the other day, and they're like, "This is what
someone
you're
asked me
working
to."
on."
Yeah, is this the thing? No. Are you making stuff for the new film? If I was, I wouldn't be posting about it, would I?
Nope.
Right.
So,
I mean, you might.
We're posting about the other thing we're not supposed to.
I might. Yeah. You can't rule it out. I might, but yeah.
I might.
Yeah. I might be. Shoot.
Stellan Skarsgård did an interview with GamesRadar.com of all things, and he had this to say about season 2 of Andor. He said, "It's the last season of it. It ends where Rogue One starts, so it's up to that point. I think it will be very good, and as already the first one was satisfying for me because it's sort of Star Wars for grown-ups. It's a more realistic and complicated society that they're living in, and the claustrophobia of the fascist regime is palpable." Man, he's got some good words in that sense. "I think we have a good season ahead of us." And then he also commented on when we might see the show. So we've not been given an official release date yet for Andor, but he said it will probably be out towards the end of the year or early next. Now, I'm always doing the notes at the last minute. We've talked about, like, Disney announced what the lineup was for this year, and Andor wasn't on it, right? We're getting Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, and that was it. So my money's on early next year.
I thought they had to do reshoots on Andor.
Well, if they did, so they did, but they're done. So we'll still have the better part of the year ahead of us. So, and a lot of that show's practical, so there's not as many effects necessary in certain cases.
I'm psyched for Andor.
This post-production, I mean, Raimi and you guys, from your experience, like, does it take about a year? Like, when they say we're done filming, is it kind of about a year?
Well, for a film, yeah. So for a TV show, it's maybe compressed. Go ahead. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
No. But sorry. To your point, it also depends because this show has mostly practical effects, so maybe there's less to. Compared to something that's more CGI or volume related.
Yep.
So maybe it'll be out sooner than we expect. But that's just a wild guess, I think.
Can we take a minute to just pause the news for a second and just remember how good Andor is?
It's amazing.
So good.
Like, okay, do you guys remember the scene with, I forget what it's called, but when they had the stars, the firework show.
The eye of something, right? The eye of Aldani.
Yeah,
Aldani. That's it.
Remember how good that was? And then not only that, but then the speech that Luthen gave when he was in the elevator,
or Marv, dude. Like, it's just, dude. There's so
and
many.
then the speech of Kino Loy, the One Way Out.
All the speeches. Anytime
there were a lot of good speeches. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
The F the Empire speech.
Dude, that one too.
That was the best.
And then
Yeah,
and then
she was
remember
rad.
and then remember in the beginning of the series, just the tension between Cassian and Luthen, like when they didn't know if they could trust each other.
Yeah.
It's a great. I mean, that show is one of
For-
the top.
So I mean, there's good arguments to say, okay, is this really? Of course, it's Star Wars, right? Because it's got Star Wars written all over it. But there's some folks that are like, well, there's no lightsabers, there's no the Force, so is it really Star Wars? And I think that what's awesome is that we're exploring something different with Andor, and it doesn't make it any less Star Wars. It's just another story that's happening in the universe, in the galaxy. I think it's awesome.
And I think it's impressive too because there's like no gimmicks, you know, like not that lightsabers and all that are the Force are gimmicks, because I love
easy.
that aspect of Star Wars, but it's an easy thing to fall back onto.
Mhm.
But here it's just like pure drama, and that was the point of the
Yes.
show to begin with, right? It wasn't like for kids; it was more like a straight up drama that happens to be in.
Can you
the Star
imagine?
Wars universe.
Can you imagine the conversation? Maybe it was like a bet, like, hey, can we pull off Star Wars without a lightsaber, without any Jedi in the Force?
Yeah.
Can we pull it off?
Get this, no,
And
safe.
you get Andor. That's what you get if that's a bet.
Dude, remember when he shot the cop in the first scene?
At a whorehouse. After
We're
leaving
like-
a whorehouse.
Yeah.
Like this is how it starts. Yeah, he's already.
we need to do
Sorry,
we need to do an Andor rewatch when that comes, like before that comes out, season 2. We need to do an Andor rewatch for sure.
I'm still on the side. I want to see Rogue One so bad again, just like a rewatch, but I haven't watched it since the first season of Andor, and I won't watch it until I see the second season of Andor.
Because then it leads in, right?
It leads right in. I can't watch Rogue One.
It's good. Save it for that emotion.
Yeah.
Like it.
Do you guys want to go? I'm gonna go see Phantom Menace when it comes out.
When is that?
May 4? May 3rd?
I would, but I'm going to be in San Francisco.
I want to take Amy.
I would go up there and see you guys.
You're gonna be in San Francisco in May? May 4?
Yeah, May 4th. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. News to everyone.
Well, it's for a reason. It's for a
Thanks for the
reason.
invite. Thanks for the invite.
No, it's for no.
Right.
Do you want to know why?
Nope,
I know why.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, are you going with him, Brian?
Oh my god, guys. It's just me and Crosshair. It's just Tech and Crosshair.
Yeah. You guys aren't invited.
Because it feels so good. No.
They're going together since they're not on the show at all anymore.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Crosshair is.
Crosshair is, dude. Crosshair. Oh man, we need to talk about this. Okay. Oh, you got more news,
Okay.
Raimi? Are you still
All right,
on?
yeah, let's get through the news so we can get to the real good stuff. Okay. Ahmed Best of Jar Jar Binks fame has posted on Instagram a photo of himself in a motion capture suit with the caption, "Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in." And then he included the hashtags referencing Jar Jar, Keller and Beck, Jedi, Sith Lord, and game developer Activision. So let the speculation begin. It's presumably he's doing mocap for some video game, but with for what character? I mean,
You read between the lines.
He literally tagged everything he could tag just to throw us off. I mean, his characters, but then both Sith and Jedi. So who knows? So
I always try to decipher those hashtags. Like, is this supposed to be very specific, or is he just writing something like, "Oh, Jedi, Sith, and his character, Jar Jar, Keller, and Beck"?
Meanwhile,
Or is it
some
like-
PR person
or
just
is
sent
it
him
like-
a note.
How rude.
No, but because they could just be hashtags of characters you've done, which is Keller and Beck and Jar Jar, cool. And then Jedi and Sith, they're very normal, not normal, but very popular hashtags for the franchise. Or is that or is he doing something specific with that? The game or a game.
we will have to wait and find out.
I mean, I think the only reason they get Ahmed Best to do any kind of mocap is for Jar Jar. No one can do the walk like him.
Fair. He tagged his Jedi character Keller and Beck too. So although Jar Jar and Keller and Beck have nothing to do with each other, so it's got to be one or the other.
But maybe Jar Jar helped Keller and Beck.
He's doing both.
Right.
Very meta.
It's Ahmed squared, dude.
James Arnold Taylor is lobbying to do a miniseries featuring Plo Koon and young Ahsoka. He said, I would love it if they brought him back. I would be really thrilled if we were able to extend what they did in the last series with Ahsoka and Plo. I'd love a whole mini series of when she was little and him training her as a Jedi. I know that Ashley is an amazing actress and could voice little Ahsoka, and she could voice mid-size Ahsoka and then full-grown Ahsoka because we've seen all that. I would love to see their arc told more. I want to know what happened there. So, for anybody that didn't realize, I mean, yes, we all know James Arnold Taylor did Obi-Wan, but he was also the voice of Plo Koon. So, we shall see. And we saw. So they were in. What is it? The oh gosh, not the Clone Wars, but the Tales of the Jedi. Is that it?
Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, that. So we saw some of that. I think what he's hoping is that we'll see some more. Who knows if he's hinting at something or not. So thank you to YouTube chat moderator extraordinaire Steph for sending this one in. Remember, if you've got news for me, you can email it to news@thedadbatch.com and we will talk about it on the show. So Star Wars Battlefront is making a return. So being called Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. It will be on all of the major gaming platforms, including PC via stream, Xbox One and Series, PlayStations 4 and 5, and the Nintendo Switch. Comes out on March 14th, so it's only a couple of weeks away, and it comes with new maps, including Jabba's Palace for Battlefront 1, and then characters including Kit Fisto and Asajj Ventress and more, and then Battlefront 2 is getting even more content, including maps for Beston, Renvar Harbor. Renvar, is that a planet? I don't know. There's another Renvar location labeled Citadel, so I don't know if that's like
it might be just
the Citadel. Yeah, they were just map, and then also Yavin 4, some Yavin 4 content as well.
Love that game, dude. Back in the day. Oh my gosh.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
But we've had. Yeah, I don't know. I've got thoughts on that. Never mind.
Does anybody know if is this just a straight up re-release or is it a remaster?
That's what I'm curious about. If it's remastered, that's one thing because it'll have the mechanics of the new games, which are actually good. Like the mechanics are amazing. But if it's the same game, and like you said, there's a couple of new maps. Cool. Okay.
But there's some nostalgia for some folks. Just like, why do people play Pac-Man still? Like, why do people play Galaga?
But I feel like they're refurbishing something though that's already been out a few times. They did it once. They did it again. They did it.
It's all about the Benjamins, man. They're gonna make some money on it,
which it'll be fun anyway. But yeah,
it's just a very repetitive game too.
I'm not buying it again.
You're gonna make some money on it.
I love it, but I'm not buying it again.
Yeah.
Thanks anyway.
My son hit me up, Brandon. He's like, dude, we're getting that one. So he remembers when we had the PlayStation 2 on this one ledge of their dresser, and he ran in the room as I'm playing, tripped on the cord, and it came crashing down and opened, and the CD fell out and ruined. And I looked at him. I didn't say anything, but I just looked at him, and he's like,
"Remember when controllers had cords?"
He's like, "Oh man,
it had a control. Like it was like, yeah, that was back in the day, right?" Remember when phones were like basically a can of soup with a string and hello, hey, Steven, say, I'd like to make some armor. Hey, you paint the metal and I'll print over here. Okay?
We're getting a like a hard line for the shop space, and the shop space I said is like it's an old vintage building. We're gonna get like a rotary phone. They make them. You can order one on Amazon.
Right?
Yeah, because it kind of fits the space. So
I mean, I may not be the only one with this story, but when I was a little kid, our house had a rotary phone, and it was like mounted to the wall. Like the phone, if you wanted to change the phone company had to come out and like put a new phone in.
Yep.
Like it was. It was not
like hard.
It wasn't just a
hard
line.
line.
You just like
hardwired.
The cool thing is when you went away from rotary and you went to the button, and then you got the really long coily, like the 20-foot extension.
You got the extra long
one. The hallway.
That reached all the way down the hall and then through the closed door. Yeah.
And then close your door and you're in the closet. John, get off the phone. Get off the line. And then what happens is, what's that?
A lot of kids these days, because when we say telephone, we put our hand up like this usually. But if you ask a kid nowadays, like the latest generation, no, they don't know. Like when you say do a phone,
they're like, is that a gang sign?
They do this. They do
what are you doing? Shaka?
We do this.
Like they're holding up an iPhone. It's crazy. Yeah, like this.
Or if you have,
why are you holding a brick to your head? I don't understand.
Yeah. if you actually had two phones in the house, look out,
You're a
because then
big
like
deal.
you'd be on the phone and somebody else would answer, and
You
you'd be
could
like,
you
"Oh
could
my God,
eavesdrop.
Like
leave me
Dookie.
alone." Yeah,
You would literally eavesdrop. Yep.
Mom, I'm on the phone.
yeah, exactly.
I said hang up, Mom. You could pick up. I'm a star 69, you.
Oh
Oh,
dang!
that was
I
way
forgot about
later. That was way later.
I'm on the phone. Make me some hot pockets.
Ah,
Give me some hot pockets.
meatloaf.
And
What
chocolate
is she
milk.
doing? What is she doing? I never know what she's doing.
And then, so then when I was in high school, my dad got a. It wasn't a cell phone. It was a car phone, and it was like there was this thing that was like mounted to the
Baller.
floorboard of the front seat of the car, and it had
You're a
like the
baller.
cord. It was a big box and had a cord that like you'd pick up the handset and like there were buttons on it and you could dial, but like you would pick it up and basically talk to an operator, and then she'd connect you with somebody. Like you couldn't just dial somebody's house.
Do you remember how
And
much?
like half the it was ridiculous, and like half the trunk was equipment to make this thing work. Like you sacrificed a massive amount of storage space in the trunk for the equipment to do it.
Do you remember how much it was for a minute of phone call?
Oh,
It was like
yeah.
$1, dude. It was like $1 for a minute, and
Yeah.
it would rack up big time because you're calling everybody for that.
I had like little get-togethers at my house when I was young, when I was a teenager, and when my parents would go out of town, and somebody called Taiwan or China or something for like 45 minutes.
Oh my!
It was like $300 or something, and my parents were like, "Who called?" And I had no idea, had zero clue as to who. And I was like on top of it, like people would come over, but I knew who they were or whatever, and I was like still baffled to this day, like who
Like the back of the magazine, that one awkward number that you call for a friend, and you end up
those 900 numbers.
900 numbers, and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
$400 bill. Dude, we sound so old right now.
Yeah, we've really.
My rotary phone with the long cord.
We're basically the grandpa batch almost.
Are we still in the news?
Yep.
We are. God, we're like only half done too, guys. So
all right.
buckle up.
God, really?
All right, let's get moving.
Rapid.
This might take a while.
I got a couple of quote heavy ones coming up here. So, okay. First though, in last bit of video game news. So, game maker Electronic Arts is laying off 670 employees, which impacts significantly subsidiary Respawn, who announced that their Star Wars first-person shooter that I think we had talked about before is now canceled. So,
of course,
a lot of layoffs across a lot of industries these days.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate.
That's too bad.
There's going to be a gamer strike.
Think so?
Game developer strike.
that's been bouncing around for a while. So yeah, I think it's coming.
Do you guys? Whenever I hear like people like working at gaming companies, the movie that automatically hits my mind is Grandma's Boy. Dude, that movie is so
the best.
You can't see me.
You
not
can't
here.
You don't see me.
Sorry.
No, it's
so
good. I don't remember the specific lines, but it was so good.
It's so good.
Guys, come on. Let them do the news. Jeez.
No, that's fine. So when they're not busy talking about the Dad Batch, Bad Batch creators Brad Rao and Jennifer Corbett spoke with comicbook.com about bringing Asajj Ventress back for Bad Batch Season 3. So we said, without spoiling too much, we have a storyline that requires someone, Jennifer Corbett said, and she was the best fit for what we needed. But again, Brad Rao and I don't make these decisions by ourselves. It's very much a conversation. And when Ventress was put on the table, we were very excited about it because we're big fans of that character and we wanted to honor her, what her character was in Clone Wars, while also honoring Dark Disciple. And then Brad Rao jumped in. He said, once we knew we could use this character that we love so much, we immediately were doing lots of research. We went back to unfinished arcs of the Clone Wars that were actually the inspiration for the novel Dark Disciple. And there were designs created, including her hairdo, which is so cool, and her lightsaber and the color of the saber. So we honored that for when she shows up in our storyline. We can't go into all of the details, but we can say that the answers to your questions, and we know a lot of fans are asking questions, will be answered. And then this next bit is the intriguing part for me. He continued, he said, They may not all be answered in the Bad Batch, but rest assured, the connections are all there and they will be told. So just hang tight.
Next show.
Hmm.
Watch it be in
I'm
a
telling
show.
you, like
I'm calling it.
gonna-
Yep.
there's another show for sure.
On May 4th,
the meat train
on May 4th, we're going to get an announcement for the next show. I'm
It's
sure.
going to be Asajj focused.
People love the animated series.
Is that what
Maybe
you guys
not
think?
focused. Maybe not focused, but at least in it.
And so they're going to continue the story till it meets A New Hope.
Maybe.
Like, you know what I mean?
Who knows? Maybe it's
Or
Omega.
Rebels.
They have so many
Omega and the other kids.
Yeah.
Man, they can go so many directions.
So much room for activities.
Yep.
Yeah.
The 3 kids, those 3 clones, right? That you guys are talking about from the Bad Batch.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be Omega and them or something like that.
Someone in the chat was asking Omega and the 3 kids.
That's what I'm feeling.
Maybe. I don't know.
Could be. I think they were just a side note. I don't think they're going to be very prominent. Those kids.
I think it just lets you know there's a lot of little.
It just,
little
there's a bunch out there. Yeah.
There's a bunch out
They're
there.
not all
You hope.
gone.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we'll get like maybe we'll get a Rex Adventures or something like that.
Because he's got 20 years of stories to tell, I'm sure. Because between
everybody-
Rebels and this,
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
loves Rex. I mean, that would get so much attention and love.
I mean, D. Baker does need a job. So.
he needs
I
another
mean-
gig, right? It would keep him going for sure.
Yeah.
Just clone voicing everywhere.
And then he's with Wolf and Gregor too. So, and plus we haven't seen it yet because he hasn't shown up yet. But in the trailers that we saw for the Bad Batch, Wolf was there with like all the dudes.
Yeah.
In the London one, right? And
Right.
do we see him in this one or the one that was
I
released?
think it was also in
He's in this one too.
Oh, he is.
London
Yeah.
had Cody. London had Cody.
London oh,
Commander Cody.
Cody comes back, right? In the London one. Okay.
So there's a transition between Wolf being there with the Empire and then him coming with Rex and Gregor.
Was he with the Wolf Pack or was he just with other clones? I don't remember.
Couldn't tell because
think
it's hard
that
with Cody
trailer
being
he was
gray.
Ah, dang.
But,
Guys, I was rewatching the season 3 trailer this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So in the trailer, it was Captain Rex with no pauldron talking to Hunter, talking about how we have to go back and save the trailer.
and he was wearing Phase 2 armor. It wasn't even his Rex armor. It was just Phase 2 with the Phase 2 helmet.
So
Which kid?
so that's what I'm saying.
Which
So
kid?
it's like
Alpha.
I think Omega's
not
gonna get
Boba.
I think she's gonna get recaptured.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, everybody, yeah, because the Empire is trying to get her, right? I think they are. They're
That's
gonna
the whole
get her.
point. Yeah. But
So things look good now, but
Yeah. It's
So-
way too happy right now.
Oh,
well, I don't know. That the ending of that episode, it was pretty
dude, the
intense.
tension. Are we gonna talk about this?
yeah, next.
Let's
News,
go.
news,
Somebody-
news.
somebody
Yeah,
sent me a-
news.
Let's finish news.
No, it's funny just because it's the right point in the conversation. Somebody sent me a meme that somebody had done. Like it was, the meme where like the 2 cars are passing each other and everybody in the one car's looking at everybody in the other, and they're
Yeah.
like, so it was that, but in one car it was Omega and
Crosshair.
Crosshair, and then the other one it was Echo or Wrecker and Hunter. They're like the 2 ships are flying past each other.
Get in.
Mhm.
Okay, Amanda Stenberg, star of the upcoming show Acolyte, did an interview with Magazine C. I don't know what that is, but apparently a thing. And so she said that they basically built the character and a lot of the show around knowing that she was who they wanted for it. So she said all of the artwork was conceptualized with my face. And Leslie was like, so I've been working on this for about 3 or 4 years for you. I don't know what I'm going to do if you don't do it. No pressure, Stenberg told Magazine C. So I was sent to the moon, of course. In a previous interview, showrunner Leslie Headland had revealed the series, which she's described as Frozen meets Kill Bill with Kurosawa influences. It's a mystery thriller that focuses on the perspective of the Sith's battle against the Jedi. Headland also teased the series featuring more Jedi than any other Star Wars film or TV show. I have a really, really So we're back to Stenberg now. Sorry, I have a really, really heavy load in this show, an abnormal load. The crews are so hardcore, they're so hardworking, and it's very kind of hierarchical and competitive, and people work their asses off. It's a quote. Sorry. It's very different, I think, than what I've experienced on most American sets. In the context of the Star Wars universe, it's a time of great peace, theoretically. It's also a time of an institution, and it's a time in which conceptions around the Force are very strict. And I think that's what we're trying to explore within our show, is when an institution has a singular conception of how power can be used, we try to provide a lot of different perspectives and answers for that question. The idea is to kind of honor the ethos of Star Wars and ideas around the Force, and also challenge them, hopefully harmoniously. So, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to this one. So I'm looking forward to all of them, but this one seems. I like that they're pushing different territories with a lot of these. Okay, last article, and really this is more Raimi going on a rant than anything. So Daisy Ridley, I saw a rumor going around, so I'm going to do my best to try and squash this. Daisy Ridley's upcoming Star Wars film is not titled Episode 10: A New Beginning. So like, I've been seeing that all over. Like, so they're calling it like Star Wars Episode 10: A New Beginning, and like that's not it. It's not that. The internal working name for the show, and which could very well get picked up as the real name, is simply Star Wars: New Jedi Order, with no plans to number it in sequence, because the other 9 films are numbered specifically that way because they are the Skywalker saga,
Right.
which they've said very clearly, like, it's done. So anything else, even if it happens to have other characters in it, like, you know, Rogue One had Princess Leia in it. It's not
name is Skywalker.
a numbered film, right? Like, so the Skywalker saga is done, and this is going to be called something different. It's not going to be a numbered film.
I mean, correct me if I'm
Skywalker.
mistaken, but hasn't it been established that she's not the star of the film?
Oh,
I haven't heard that.
Oh,
that would be wild. Is that a what?
Is that a Wrecker's rumor?
Is it a real Wrecker rumor?
Wrecker's rumor.
I'm just squashing the rumor that it's called Episode 10: A New Beginning, because that's not true.
Oh, Steven just
Let
leaked some info.
Let me deflect on that statement for a moment here. You know, I was thinking about this the other day with Episode 9, with Rey Palpatine, right? Like, literally, you have Emperor Palpatine, who has tried to screw over the Skywalker family for so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a kid who, I mean, maybe we'll see how that comes about. In Bad Batch or whatever. But he has a kid. He eventually has a kid who is a clone of himself.
Maybe.
Or is it a natural born son?
Dude, there's so many rumors.
Was that ever established? If his son is,
dude, I've heard rumors.
They might have been the Guardians.
Where her parents that blew up on the ship, Rey's parents that blew up on the ship, her dad, that dad is a clone version of Palpatine with no Force. He was just born and then he escaped, but he's technically part Palpatine.
It would be cool.
He's the one that had Rey, and so it's like technically, is it his child? Yeah,
skip the generation,
dude. So it's like all funky.
So Rey by blood is a Palpatine, right? It's not like, you know, how Anakin was.
Not like she's a Skywalker.
You know, conceived by the midichlorians or whatever. It's Rey Palpatine.
She bad.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is Rey Palpatine, who by the end of it says, I don't want to be a Palpatine. I want to be a Skywalker. I'm Rey Skywalker. Why? Like, out of all the things you could do, come on.
That seems bad. Skywalker good.
Honestly, but like, look, so we talk about like the notion of found family a lot on the show, and like, so she's identifying with the Skywalkers, and like she would rather align herself in that's like
she loves Leia.
That's the family she wants to be associated with. Yeah.
So, I mean, think about also like people that maybe have had traumatic past from real like bad families, and maybe there's a really good friend in the neighborhood and the family, the really good family down the street they admire. And that family takes them in, and they're like, man, I wish you were my family. Right. And so it's just like, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's, you identify as the good, as the positive, and not the bad. You're trying to separate yourself. But to your point, Stephen, in her blood, it's Palps.
She a baddie.
Palps.
Batty Bo Batty.
That's why she killed Chewie in the lightning. That was
Harness the good.
Almost
block
killed
the
Chewie.
bad.
She destroyed the wrong ship or a different ship. But yeah, that would have sucked.
Harness.
Okay.
block.
I mean, I'm not closed-minded to this. I would love to hear a good explanation.
Well, I think we're getting it in the Bad Batch. We're getting pieces sewn together.
Yeah, maybe she's a test tube baby, and then that guy that dropped her off.
She's a test tube baby, dude.
But maybe he, or not Jakku, I'm sorry, wherever she's from, Tatooine, I guess. Maybe she's he left her there, like, saved her from wherever, from the lab. Maybe he's just a scientist. You never know.
Ooh.
Can they? Here's a question. Can they piece together
She's a clone, right?
enough of the puzzles pieces to make up for the disappointment some people had with that whole
I think so.
The Last Jedi
story?
I'm eagerly anticipating it.
I think it's going to happen.
Here's the deal. How many people hated the prequels?
Ray Rebo.
Everybody.
Yeah,
And now how many people
Clone
love
Wars.
them because
Yeah,
of what
right.
animation
Give it
has
20
given us?
years.
The Clone Wars saved
They
it.
do the same thing.
Give it 20
They do the
years.
same
Yeah.
thing.
The Clone Wars
I
saved
like that.
episode 1, 2, and 3. for
I
sure.
like it. I like it.
I did not like original Anakin 1, 2, and 3. I thought he was whiny. I thought this guy's like, what is he doing? I didn't even understand the acting. Honestly, I'm being honest. I was
Ahsoka
there. I watched it.
redeemed him a lot, I think.
Well, Ahsoka redeemed it, but the Clone Wars, dude, if we didn't have Ahsoka, I went back and watched Hayden Christensen's acting. I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes more sense now. Like, I didn't need Ahsoka. Ahsoka's like a bonus. That just made me, that hit the feels.
That redeemed all the
Everything.
bad stuff.
But what Hayden was trying to do was tell his story, and he did it actually really well when you think about what he was given.
He's an angsty kid. Yeah.
The Clone Wars, man, it told so much. And now, dude, I can't see Vader the same way. I just can't. It's just so good. It's freaking rad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, the actors and actresses in the prequels, they were giving the performance that the writer wrote down and that the director asked of them. So, listen, George Lucas is a great editor, and he created all this thing. Like, his imagination obviously gave us all of this stuff.
More intense.
But as a director and a writer, it's not like he writes kind of campy, and some of his directions not.
Yeah.
Do you think in the scene when they were they got unchained from the pillar when they were fighting in like gladiator style, and then they were like, run as awkward as possible?
It was a blue screen, man. They were acting with like
probably had
balls.
Well, that's the part. That's the part to me is like when that came out, like it was insane because CGI was like becoming
a thing.
It was the first steps of what it is now, and it was like your mind is blown about like everything that was able to be done on the screen because George was getting to do everything that he ever wanted to do.
The boundaries,
create it,
and it holds up.
But I think to your point, Stephen, the Bad Batch, the cloning, all this stuff is going to help the Bad Batch, and then whatever are those shows that they announced on May the 4th, because we just said it's going to happen. These shows are going to help put together the picture for 789.
Yeah,
we're going to look at it with a different lens.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Different point of view.
I'm excited for more future post sequel trilogy storytelling. Not necessarily having to do or not do with the characters like Rey and Finn and
just
all
more
those
content.
more content. Yeah.
Cool.
That is it for the news.
Woohoo! We survived.
We've done these 1,000 times, boys. You know what to do.
When have we ever followed orders?
Woo.
All right, full spoilers ahead. If you have not seen season 3, episode 4 of The Bad Batch, time to turn off the pod, listen and get spoiled. I don't care.
Hit pause. Hit pause. Go watch it and then hit play.
And then come back. Yeah. This episode, season 3, episode 4, titled A Different Approach, with an original air date of Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. This episode was directed by Saul Ruiz, written by Ezra Nachman, second appearance of this writer only on the Bad Batch series. His first episode was season 2, episode 7, Clone Conspiracy. With music by all of the Kiner family and a Disney Plus description: stranded in dangerous territory, Omega and Crosshair must work together. Guys, this is the first episode that we've gotten that was post 3-episode premiere. This is setting the tone for the series. Brian, I'm curious to get your input on this episode. What did you think?
I think this is what Adventure Time episodes are going to look like, which we talked about last time, which are not boring, which are not filler, which are like action packed. A lot's going on, but it really is Adventure Time, right? It's Crosshair and Omega adventuring, escaping, which they will probably get captured again because Hemlock is hot on their tails. I mean, the interaction, the one-liners, the interaction between Crosshair and Omega. Crosshair's one-liners was like all time in this. The banter, the back and forth between him and Omega was all time. And then the visuals, the planets when the ships were flying, like everything was super cool. And then that ending. I mean, if you didn't get choked up, what are you even doing with your life? You're not alive. You're dead. You're dead inside. You are dead inside.
What was your favorite scene of the episode?
When Omega, Crosshair's like, let me just kill everybody. Let me just kill everybody. And she's like, no. And then when they were trying to escape, trying to get rescue Batcher from the thing, from that big weird roly-poly Imperial guy. And she's like trying to negotiate with him, and then she goes, all right, fine. And she looks back at Crosshair and is like, let's do it your way. And he was just like, boo, 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 and just start blasting. That was my favorite. I mean, the ending is too easy. I don't even want to say it just because that was, I mean, come on. And I loved how quick they did it. I love how, they got away. Hemlock's right on their tail. And she's just like, I'm telling Hunter and Wrecker. And Crosshair's like, okay. And then they're like, oh, there's a Marauder. Here they are. Like, yeah. And then that scene was just
intense.
Yeah. So good.
So much tension.
John, you just watched the episode right before.
I just watched it,
which was fun.
I don't have Disney Plus right now, so we had to watch it in a group because that's the situation of things. But there were a couple things that I liked that we sort of touched on it in our private chat. There were some references to things that I might be wrong, but I thought that Omega and them in the bar was sort of like an Inglourious Basterds sort of reference, like where the Germans come in and people, the people sort of, what scene I'm talking about, right? Yeah, where it ends a lot different in Inglourious Basterds, but I thought that was one of those. And then Joe, you had mentioned it looked like Jurassic Park when all the beasts were out of their cages and running wild. It looked like that one classic Jurassic Park scene, which I liked, and I'm sure those were on purpose. I'm certain.
You think so? You would think so, right? The artists were like, "Hey, let's have them run this one."
Yeah. I do think so. Ooh, and look at that. I don't know if everyone can see that. Yeah, I guess they can. Yeah, and this scene. So, but before Crosshair comes out, which obviously is very, very intense, when the animation is so good on Omega when she comes out and she hugs Wrecker, and then all of a sudden Hunter shows up and she looks at him and like almost breaks down crying and runs up to him, and it's like, oh my god,
she's already she already has tears running down her face with Hugger.
You feel it,
yeah.
And and then when Crosshair shows up, obviously it's so intense, so tense. You can cut through that tension with a butter knife. Yeah, and like you guys, because at first I didn't notice, I was in shock, but yeah, like Hunter's fist is clenched and Wrecker has his eyebrows completely in a V shape. Like they're not happy to see him. Like you said, Joe, in our private chat, the last time they saw him was on that platform on Camino at the end of season 1, I think. So they've been apart a long time. And while Omega has reconnected with him a little bit, they are still probably very chapped about how their relationship ended in the previous time they saw each other.
Right. Yeah.
So very cool. And yeah. And
Well,
I
it's
like
such a torn.
Go ahead.
It's such a torn moment, right? Because they're like angry at him, but she's like, "Well, I had help."
Yeah, like I wouldn't have been able to without him. Who? Him.
Yeah. Crazy.
Him, that guy. Ooh.
The pace of that scene and just the way it built and the music. Oh my gosh. If you go back and rewatch, and I know you'll rewatch, listen to the music and try to absorb it all. It's epic storytelling. I love it.
And some people in the chat mentioned the Macquarie Poncho Trooper thing. They looked awesome. The Macquarie style, but they're like Mimbin Macquarie style almost with the poncho and everything. The poncho was like very not generic. It looked very specific. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to those people. Kira, I think it was. Yeah.
What I love is I capture. We're talking about the scene when Omega sees Wrecker and Hunter. She hasn't seen them. They're her brothers. It's been 6 months or so.
Yeah.
I tell you right now, I don't know if you ever see those videos where like military members come back from deployment and they surprise their kids in the gym or at school.
Who's cutting onions?
Or like a basketball game.
Yeah, at a basketball game, they surprise a kid has no idea. They captured that in Star Wars. Like, how do you capture that in Star Wars in an anime? This is animation, folks.
They nailed it.
Like they nailed it.
When Wrecker and Omega are like catching up right here, and then all of a sudden you hear Hunter in the background who's been standing there for a second.
Yeah, you can see him there in silhouette a little bit.
And Wrecker's like,
"We crossed the galaxy 4 times," and he goes 5. So good, so good.
What are they doing to us? What are they doing?
Cutting onions.
They know what they're doing,
dude. So again, here's another thing too. I remember my kids hugging them, and I hadn't seen them in 6-7 months. My kids would say, "Oh, Dad, I missed your smell." Omega, she's hugging Wrecker, and she's like, it's like a warm hug. There's all the senses are happening all right there, dude. Hence the tears, hence the joy, and we're all witnessing this. It's so cool. I'm excited. It's so cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
I love
Ramy,
it.
What'd you think of this episode?
Agree with the poncho thing. Okay, so was are we calling that guy the roly-poly officer? Is that what I heard? Right.
Roly-poly.
Okay, so did he get captured by a Rathtar?
I think so.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. See, we are tying into the sequels after
it's
all.
a Rathtar. I think it's a Rathtar.
Little bit.
So I thought that was great. Yeah, because and the same thing, like when Reyes accidentally hits the fuse or whatever and like unlocks the cages, and she's like, "Oh, that's the wrong one." This like all the cages get opened up, and he gets consumed by a Rathtar. Here we go. Look at him. And there come the tentacles. That's it. He's gone.
Who was the actor that played him? Was he anybody noteworthy? The voice just seems super familiar.
I thought it was the Scottish dude from Andor that says SHIT for the first time on screen. Remember? He's like, "Oh, but he was like super Scottish." Oh, but I don't think it's him. It reminded me of him, but I don't think it's him.
Dude, Michelle had her work cut out for her this season. Jeez.
It was a good episode.
Brutally emotional.
Liam O'Brien.
Okay.
Liam sounded like Liam
O'Brien.
Liam the roly poly. Hey, he's a roly poly. He's a Liam.
He played a guy you hated. That's for sure.
Okay. Biggest thing I think that we need to talk about on this episode is what's next for the batch, because they did not leave off with happy faces here.
I think they're gonna, while I think, okay, hold on. Well, I think they're upset, obviously on the surface, and probably a little deep down inside as well. I think that the love they have for each other, and I don't know even if it's love or like the camaraderie, the brotherhood they have, I think is gonna overpower whatever negative feelings they have for each other right now. For both of them too, because Crosshair is probably a little chapped as well. He's probably bitter too. So, and he didn't want to come to begin with. But what's that?
I think. Go ahead, Steve.
One thing that I was talking about, or alluding to a little bit earlier was, we haven't, we did get confirmation in this episode. I think it's confirmation that Crosshair for sure knows that Tech is dead.
I'm sure he has to.
By now,
because we kept getting Omega saying, "I need to reach out to Hunter
and Wrecker."
Why
wouldn't you mention Tech? Right. Why wouldn't you mention Echo or Tech?
She's going to his cell every day to go check on him.
By the way, Crosshair, yeah.
So I think that does confirm that he's aware that Tech met his fate in last season. One thing that I do want. One thing that I do want to see is the. I don't know if we're gonna see it, but I want to see Crosshair come to terms with that Tech is gone.
And I have a theory also. Maybe they were all clenched fist and upset because maybe if Crosshair was there, it would have ended differently, or things would have turned out differently. Like maybe Tech would not be gone if Crosshair had came with them and been part of whatever they were doing.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. That was just a thought I had.
Yeah, he's the cause for a lot
maybe
of their
part
pain.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
maybe
next episode doesn't even start with that. What we just ended on. I don't even think they might even go to it. I think next episode could be Rex and Echo on Adventure Time. They could just leave us hanging.
I hate that.
They would do that, wouldn't they? Oh,
they would.
With how big that moment just was, I could totally see the next episode not opening up with them standing there looking at each other.
Why did
you know what, Brian? You're absolutely right, because this episode started right off of where we left off on the previous one. Like,
so
flying
this was
the ship.
an arc, is what you're saying? These three were an arc. We're gonna have a new arc, and maybe it's the Rex and Wolf and Echo.
We call it the Recco. The Recco.
Echo.
We said this earlier, but it would be awesome if it opened up. Hunter and Crosshair come face to face, and they're staring at each other.
Here's your armor.
And Hunter goes, "You son of a bit."
Yeah.
And they do the Predator lockup.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
Yeah. Is that it? Is that everyone?
I mean, it's such a simple episode, but I mean, there's a lot of substance to it, but it is very simple.
It was very emotional.
There was some really cool parts, right? So we got to see Omega
one-liners.
No, well, so her betting skills or her strategic skills in playing games and winning money was used. The little gesture from Sid showed up when she's trying to negotiate her way onto that shuttle. Hey, for a price. She's using the same mannerisms. She's picking up so all the skills she's built over
adapting.
Her time with the Bat, she's using to her advantage.
I mean, we got a lot of insight into the character of Crosshair. I think, like when he calls Batcher, right when they're getting up from the table, because the Imperial roly poly dude's like, that animal's a distraction, and then what do we see, Brian? Crosshair's like,
he gets up and he goes,
yeah, dude. Mm-hmm. I love how Batcher is just like,
he's part of the crew.
She's just all of a sudden like the best dog you've ever had, right?
Yeah, Wrecker's gonna fall in love with him. In that scene though, like when Omega's gambling, and you see Crosshair on that bench just sitting there, he's watching everything, and as things evolve, he's getting more like getting ready to act. He's getting ready to do something. So he starts leaning more forward. Then the next scene, he leans more forward. It's like he's getting ready he's trying to like hold himself back. And what's cool is he's calling Omega Omega, and he's letting her do her thing. It's like he's watching her and learning that she can actually hold her own. I mean, he's surprised. He's like, because what in season 1, he's like, we're taking orders from a kid. What are we doing?
He
right?
left.
Now
That
there's
was
more
that
respect.
too,
Yeah,
so.
she
Now
got him out.
It's
She got
totally
him out.
flipped. He has
Yeah.
to. He has
She's
to
in charge.
He
She's
has
in
to-
charge.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the ultimate thing was the end too, right? Where she's like, "Oh, Wrecker and Hunter will be there," and he's just like,
He's like, don't bother.
"They're probably
yeah.
dead." Like,
I can see
in a while.
people- I could see people, fans. This is going back to fans and hate, who didn't like Omega in season 1 because they said she's kind of in the way. Everybody wanted to just focus on the Bad Batch, and then now seeing the development over 3 seasons, realizing how important Omega is, and is the show really about the Bad Batch? Is it really? It's just awesome to see all this kind of just build and build and build, and we're actually the Bad Batch are supporting the development of Omega. It's so cool.
Kira's going crazy in the chat because
she is.
There was also the comment where they called Crosshair her dad.
Yeah,
and now she's saying Cross Dad.
Cross Dad.
And in real life, technically, you are.
Yeah,
You know, I
literally.
I think this episode. I mean, this is a selfish notice that I saw in this episode was. I think it further solidifies my theory that Omega's superpower or mutation is to adapt to the situation. Because so far we've seen each of the Batchers, especially in this episode, Crosshair, they just want to fulfill their role, right? We see Crosshair. All he wants to do is just take them on head on.
Right.
He even says, I could eliminate half of them in the blink of an eye, right?
Yeah.
But every problem, every situation that we see our characters face in this episode, Omega always has a different type of resolution. She's always adapting to the situation, right? You said, Joe, with the whole, like, you know, the money thing, you know, she figures there's got to be a different way to approach this. There's a different resolution, right?
I'll figure it out. Yeah.
Same thing when they come out of the pub, right? And now Batcher is gone.
The mission changed. Go get Batcher.
The little kid is like, oh, they went that way. Well, actually, even the little kid, Crosshair wanted to just beat him up.
Oh, he's so mad.
Like we'll pay him we're not going to pay him the 10. We'll pay him the 5, right? And she gets the information that way. So it's interesting because I was watching the there's a new trailer that just dropped. I think it was today that a new trailer dropped for the episode. And there was a little thing in there. It's not from this episode, and it's not from the original season 1 trailer, but there's a line that Omega says, and she says, I just want to know who I am. Or I just want to know what I am.
Ray's mom.
So it's an interesting foreshadowing that we're getting there.
What if
she's a Palpatine?
What if she says that line as an explanation for why she voluntarily goes back? Maybe that's how they've got, like, maybe that's why Rex has to,
granddaughter.
says we gotta go get her.
Yeah, I did mention to you guys before the show started that in that original trailer for season 3, we get a scene of Rex talking to Hunter, saying, "We need to find the kid. Finding the kid is the most important thing." So, yeah,
There's a lot more to come. We're only 4 episodes in. We have a roller coaster.
Yeah, 4 out of what? 15?
Something like that.
4 out of 15.
There's a roller coaster of emotions that are going to be happening.
Good show.
Perfection.
That's a great episode.
It is Brian's perfect episode. He will just end the season there.
No, I'm excited to just see it keep going. You know,
and the pacing continues to be really not very fast and not very slow, but like at the right speed. You know, everything's developing. I guess it is a little slower, but it's perfect. It's so good.
I just finished watching season 1 last night, and so I'm going to start season 2. I just appreciate season 1 so much more now. I mean, I loved it in the beginning, right? But it was more about the Bad Batch and their action and all these other things. But now it's just
it's about family now.
Yeah, you're seeing the squad. You're seeing the squad fall apart in season 1, and
you're seeing them.
Yeah,
put their pieces back together and continue on, and
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
good episode. All right,
Brian.
Jeez.
Is your mic the Terminator?
I don't know, but I'm muting Brian.
Can you drop?
Why did you make me do this? Guess you have a choice. You want a war, or do you want to just give me a gun? My father, he go toilet on my hands.
Oh my God.
Urine is 35 degrees Celsius, staves off the frostbite.
How is this relevant?
You know, fathers.
Yo, all right. So I forgot we were doing this Hunter's hard drive, but I'm like, is it me? Is it Ramy? All right. So we're not talking about a show or a movie today. We're going to be talking about a video game that just came out recently called Helldivers 2. You guys have heard of it a little bit, maybe? Everyone's muted, so that means I'm the only one talking. Great. Okay. So Helldivers 2, developed by Arrowhead Game Studios, been published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. The game is a sequel to Helldivers, which is like a top-down shooter that wasn't very good apparently, but this new one is essentially, so I don't know if the chat is familiar or if people listening are familiar. Starship Troopers. You guys remember that movie, Starship Troopers? So this game is essentially Starship Troopers, where you can have 4 people online at the same time. So you have like a squad of 4 people, and you can kind of customize your loadouts and like the type of things you get. And you get dropped down on these. You have to like pick the planet you want to go on and the sector and all this. And you're basically like trying to eradicate like bugs from these planets, and you're liberating, for democracy. And there's another section of the universe, like the map, that is also that is like robots, like sort of like Terminators essentially. They're automatons or something. I don't know what they're called, but yeah. If you can see on screen now, if you're watching YouTube or live right now, it's basically that. Like it's you and three homies, and you get hell potted down, and you like call for help and backup and special. It's so fun. It's been really fun. It's kind of intense in the beginning because you don't know what you're doing, and it's a lot because you got bugs coming everywhere, and you have to dive out of the way, and you have to use a stim pack and get your health back up. It's nuts. But once you sort of figure it out, I've been playing with some people online from like some Instagram buddies, and it's been really fun. So I recommend it. I don't think any of you guys are going to buy it, but I wish you would so we could play.
Graphics are crazy.
It's a lot of fun. Look at that.
Is it?
Well, once you get the hang of it, because that's the thing. In the beginning, it's very intense because you're just dying like crazy because you're not aware of like But once you figure out the control,
it's like every game.
yeah. But it's intense because like it's like relentless. Like
I'm curious.
You suck.
I'm curious what makes this game so good, other than like other first-person shooters.
So it's not first person; it's third person. So you're viewing your player in front of you. And you could aim in a first-person sense when you're shooting, but when you're running, you're always in third person. So you have a cape, you customize your player, you have different helmets that you earn and armors. I like that. Weapons. It's rad. It's super rad. And each of the armors has a specific thing. Like I wear this engineer armor that lets you carry extra grenades. So I have 6 grenades instead of 4, like that type of thing.
Yeah. Is it multiplayer? Like you're playing against other people?
No, so it's you and other people playing against this online
Aliens.
threat.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's the threat online is like ever happening. It's happening whether you're playing it or not.
They're
So like if
AI.
you join in,
That's
well, yeah, but so if you join in, you have to liberate like a certain planet or like a certain
Got
sector
it.
of a planet. And if you don't, the bugs can take over and that's it. It's over. Like move
So
on.
they're not really like NPC monsters. It probably uses AI.
Maybe. Yeah. So it's like let's say for example, if I play tonight, there's going to be something happening and you get to play. There's other people playing. But if I don't play, that still happens. Like
So you get into the specifics of it, right? Because like a normal game where you're playing against the computer NPCs,
pretty much.
Those NPCs are running a program where they just do
What they have to do.
you know what's gonna happen.
They're
right?
taking
Like, you
over.
know.
Right.
Whereas like multiplayer, you're playing against other people. So
But so the whole point of the game is very basic. Kill everything. Kill the bugs. And not only that, in the middle of all that, you have to like unlock certain doors to get people out of bases and rescue them. Like drop ships come and they have to rescue you at the end, like it's intense, dude. But it's super fun and it's very yeah, if you like the vibe of Starship Troopers, like it's very much that. And especially with your friends, like if all of us could get on there, we'd laugh our butts off playing.
it totally looks like Starship Troopers.
Everybody's making new
it
helmets.
does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I have one of the helmets back here. Steven printed the dome for me and I printed the
Sick.
rest in resin. It's right there.
Yeah. I saw Daryl making one off Earth.
Yeah,
Looks
Daryl's
cool.
is so good, dude.
Why is it trendy right now? Is it this game that just came out?
It just came out, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and everyone's making the armor. There's a bunch of files now for all the armor, different types. And the funny thing is, this helmet that is the first helmet you get, and like immediately you already earn like little points and stuff, and you change it immediately. So it's like I don't even have that helmet anymore in the game.
Dude, graphics are crazy.
I had it for a day, and that was it. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's really cool. So I don't know what much more I could say about it. It's pretty much what you see is what you get. Yeah, there's like napalm attacks. It's insane. So I recommend keeping it in the hard drive. And I do recommend you go out and get it and play it. And let me know.
Like AT-AT? Looks like an AT.
Yeah, dude, there is an ATST sort of thing.
ATST, yeah,
It's
sorry.
Chicken Walker looking
Lots
thing. Yeah.
of guns.
I wasn't gonna get this, even though I do have a PS5.
Mhm.
But I just found out after a quick Google search that it's cross-platform.
Yes, it is. You can play against
Meaning-
people with PC.
So I can
And-
play this on my PC while
Yes.
you're on your PS5.
Yes, absolutely. Because you
might
can
be
have,
inclined. I
So
might
not
be
only
inclined.
that, so you have your friends on PlayStation, for example. I have my PS5 friends, but if you're on PC, I can generate a friend code and send you that, and boop, you join my game.
Cool.
Friend code.
That easy. Friend code.
Friend code.
Yeah,
it's cool.
it's like friend zone, but for bros.
I can tell you, I'm more inclined to try it
Brozone.
Bro zone.
than if it was like you were playing against other people. I hate like
Oh yeah,
because
You
if
team up
I'm
with
playing
other
if
people.
I'm playing against some like army of kids, they're gonna beat me
No,
every
that's crappy.
single time.
This
Like,
is
then
still
the worst-
fun.
I hate those games.
No, but listen.
And then
to
the
this.
worst the worst part is they teabag you and then make fun of you.
Right, that's like a
Yeah,
Halo.
that's
old
weird
Halo.
shit.
But this
Yeah,
is fun because the
yeah,
people
I'm
you're
out.
playing with become your comp. Like you want to help them. Like
Right.
one
That's
guy's
cool.
you bring them
Teamwork.
back and something happens to you and they want to bring you back. Like at the end you're like, brah, good game, guys, good game. Like we crushed, we killed the bugs or whatever. It's super fun. Yeah, at the end you're all bros.
Leroy Jenkins.
And there's friendly fire, so you could accidentally shoot your own people. So you have to be super careful where you're aiming and stuff.
The best shit ever.
Mark that.
So-
Anyway, yeah, keep it.
Oh,
Get it
man.
and play it. Let's go. Let me know.
All right, guys, we're getting ready. Do you have all the supplies? Yeah. What's the probability? Hold on, I'm running some numbers.
Leroy Jenkins.
No, Leroy, no.
Is there an echo in here?
Yes,
What?
I'm Echo.
Well,
Okay, all of my dad jokes are left over from Valentine's Day since we haven't done this segment since then. So I'm still using.
How
So what do you
romantic.
What do you call an army of baby cupids?
What?
An infantry.
Okay. Why did the toilet seat cry?
Why?
Because she just got dumped.
You guys know dogs can't operate MRI machines, right? But
Right.
cats can.
What concert costs just 45 cents?
What?
50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
How does the Easter Bunny stay in shape? Exercise.
All right. Where do fruits go on vacation? Paris.
Literally.
What did one pig say to the other one? Don't go
Oink.
bake in my heart.
Oh. No, that's terrible.
Don't go baking my heart. Don't go baking my heart.
Hey guys, why do melons have weddings?
Why?
Because they cantaloupe. I'm done.
I was going to tell you a joke about time travel, but you didn't like it.
That's so good.
Is there an echo in here?
Yes.
What?
I'm Echo.
That's actually clever. I like that one. That's so good.
I thought
You know,
these
I
dad
love
jokes were gonna,
time travel.
I thought these dad jokes were just gonna be done.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Brian redeemed us.
Yeah, that last one was really good, actually.
That was a late hit, you know?
Ours were terrible. Yeah, it's a grenade joke. Yeah, it takes a while to go off.
I did have one more that made up for the bad one that I told. You guys want to hear it anyway?
Yes.
So I heard a joke about chocolate candy bars. It wasn't very funny, but I still snickered.
Yeah.
Did I not make up for it?
It made sense.
Okay.
Well, I think that's gonna do it for us today. If you enjoyed listening, feed that algorithm and leave us a review on your podcast app. Be sure to include that cake emoji. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just subscribe and you can be entered to win an Alpha Ignition helmet of your choice, casted by the Dad Batch and painted by our very own
Yeah.
Bad Batch.
Hurry up and follow that YouTube. So
Can we get there before episode 99?
Oh, I hope so.
Follow the YouTube.
We're close. We're very
Win the
close.
helmet so we can stop saying that we're going to make it.
You can follow me at Stevie.Kicks on Instagram, sometimes on X and Threads. It's defective and effective.
Yeah.
Let the listeners know where they can find you, Brian.
Well, since my skills are going to waste, sithing ain't easy.
And John.
Alpha Ignition.
Raimi.
You can find me this weekend at Emerald City Comic Con.
Oh,
Look for him, people.
And Joe.
at solving problems and tech.badbatch.
Thank you again, everybody, for listening to episode 81 of the Dad Batch podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for episode 82. And until next time, enjoy your spice responsibly.